Let me tell y'all something. I've been around the block. I have had a lot of consoles, seen a lot of companies come, seen even more of them go. Okay? I was there when the Virtual Boy launched, which almost ended Nintendo's run. I was there when the Xbox 360 Red Ring of Death almost bankrupted Microsoft. Okay? And I am here to tell you that the disastrous launch of the Nintendo Switch 2 is absolutely a new low, not just for Nintendo, because we all know Nintendo's a joke, but for the console industry as a whole. Okay? You've got everything from massive reports of Joy-Con drift, which, I mean, did y'all really expect Nintendo to fix that? Y'all ate it up the first time. Like, you have to send in the Joy-Con, wait for it to be fixed, get it sent back. That didn't stop you from buying another pair to play with in the meantime. Just throw your credit card information down and let Nintendo have full access to your money. So, of course, they didn't fix that. Never mind the fact that the screen is downgraded. You had an OLED Nintendo Switch, which was, I don't know, about 5 years too late to the party, and then the Switch 2 comes out and it's not even OLED? Oh, you can't make this up. You can't write it, because even a good writer wouldn't think that a company would stoop that low to actually downgrade the screen on their product from one generation to the next. But this is Nintendo we're talking about. The Nintendo nerds, the people who can't, their online multiplayer service is on par with the PlayStation 2. And by the way, in case you forgot, or maybe for all you youngins out there, the PS2 launched in 2000. We're talking 25 years, quarter of a century, and Nintendo's multiplayer on the Switch 2 is barely on par. Actually, the PS2's multiplayer was better. You know why? Because it was free. And don't come at me with, but Dead Metal, you get access to all the virtual console. Nintendo has proven time and time again they can't be trusted with this. What happened to all the virtual console games from the Wii and the Wii U? They shut that down. Do you get to transfer your games over to the Switch Virtual Console? Do you receive playable cartridges of the games that you purchased on the Virtual Console? Were the titles that you bought refunded in any way, shape, or form? The answer is no, no, no. They expect you to pay again, except this time in a monthly subscription model to access games that you bought physically 20 years ago and that you bought digitally a version of on the Virtual Console from their previous generations less than 10 years ago. Nintendo is like a tick. They're sucking you dry and you don't even care. You're too stupid to see that you're being raked over the coals. They're bending you over. They're not even spitting. There's no lube. It's a disgusting business practice. And the fact that the Nintendo Switch 2 released in the state it released in, and you all are okay with it, is indicative of a much bigger problem, dare I say an epidemic of colossal proportions with the video game industry. And I don't say that lightly. You got everything from inept GameStop employees stapling receipts to the Switch 2 box that are penetrating the screen, to the massive lack of launch titles. Why are people going out the door, rushing to their local Best Buy, Walmart, GameStop to buy a Switch 2? Mario Kart World? Mario Kart 8 is, it literally, no pun intended, actually pun intended, does laps around Mario Kart World. Mario Kart Nintendo Labo does laps around Mario Kart World. Mario Kart World is Temu Mario Kart. It's a pale, shallow, surface-level imitation of a franchise that was once beholden and broadcast to the nation as the funnest arcade racer. It's a shell of its former self. They have milked the cow too much. The cow's dead. You're beating a dead horse. You're trying to pry a few more drops of water from a well that was empty the second time you released Mario Kart 8, okay? And that's it. That's all you've got. Who's rushing out to get a Switch 2 to play Cyberpunk or Hitman? I played these games almost between 5 and 10 years ago on the PlayStation and the Xbox and the PC. Like, what? And I see these posts, oh, this is my Nintendo Switch 2 haul, and they're posting the pictures of multiple Switches. So first off, that tells me you're a scalper, you're absolute scum. And you bought every launch title available, right? Like you bought Mario Kart World. Some of these idiots even bought the Mario Kart bundle, and then they bought a physical Mario Kart World as well, which just proves that you are a knuckle-dragging ape. Who ties your fucking shoes in the morning, right? Like who is spoon-feeding you your sustenance for the day? But within this Nintendo Switch 2 haul, they have physical copies of Cyberpunk, physical copies of Hitman, physical copies of Breath of the Wild remastered or upgraded or whatever Nintendo's calling it, Tears of the Kingdom, just these trash games that nobody cares about. Nobody cared about when they first came out. But again, I want to emphasize the point here. Who is playing Cyberpunk and Hitman on inferior hardware? Both of these games had free upgrades from PS4 to PS5, Xbox One to Xbox Series. Why would you pay a higher price tag for worse quality? That's the one I can't wrap my head around. Okay? I would rather play Cyberpunk on a base PS4 unpatched because I can pick it up for $5 at GameStop or on eBay than pay $60 for a rehash, barely modified version of a game that they're milking you dry for, and it's already half a decade old. Cyberpunk came out in 2020. At some point, you got to throw your hands up and realize these people can't be saved. Fools and their money are soon parted, but this is beyond both fools and their money. This is straight up cheek spreading and begging for it as hard and as fast as Nintendo can deliver it. And Nintendo might need to take a couple Viagra these days to get it up, but make no mistake, they will still deliver that bareback raw the way only Nintendo can. That's just a fact, okay? I've spent 100 hours with my Switch 2, and it is currently listed on eBay for $250. The resale value on these things have plummeted. Nintendo tried to create artificial scarcity, and they failed. You can walk into your local Walmart and pick one up off the shelf. There is no shortage of Switch 2s. In fact, I would go as far as to wager these things are going to end up like E.T. for the Atari. They made so many and the demand is so low, they're going to have to dump thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of consoles into the landfills or throw them in the sea. They're not going to know what to do with them. This thing is the biggest flop that I have ever seen. And again, I was there for the Wii U. I was there for the PS Vita. Those things look like miraculous success stories next to the Switch 2. Nintendo Switch 2? Yeah, Nintendo better switch to a different plan. I know we're only a little bit out from release, but it's probably time to stop manufacturing on these things. The systems are so underpowered. Not to mention the competition has completely wiped the floor with any sort of innovation Nintendo once laid claim to. I mean, you've got anything from the Steam Deck, which is a very, very superior product in every regard, to the latest Xbox ROG handheld console, which is coming out later this year. There's just no reason to put a Nintendo Switch 2 in your home. And in fact, if you do, you are quite literally the definition of a whale. You are one of Nintendo's pay pigs, and I guarantee you they are laughing to the bank as they cash that check with extra zeros on it because you and all your moronic friends decided to pre-order a system that, number one, there was no demand for to begin with, but number two, even though it had such a lack of demand, it still managed to disappoint. That's the story here. Nintendo Switch 2 is not a sequel to a much beloved console. It is a disappointing Control-C, Control-V, copy and paste, low-effort port job because the CEO of Nintendo decided he wanted a couple of extra yachts in his shipyard. And if you bought one, congratulations. You ain't eating good. Not with Mario Kart World and a bunch of old Zelda games that we all played almost 10 years ago. But I'll tell you who is eating good with that 5-star dining, Doug Bowser.